الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وأزواجه أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى صدق الله العظيم. Honorable ulama kiram, my dear respected friends, brothers, mothers and sisters listening at home, Alhamdulillah, the month of Ramadan has passed, and out of the many lessons that we can learn and derive from this blessed month, the one lesson that I would like to touch upon is that Ramadan brings with it a lesson for us that we can realize as believers, as Muslims, our true potential, our true capabilities. In what sense? In the sense that before Ramadan, to come for Salat was difficult. As soon as the month of Ramadan, the moon of Ramadan is sighted, people flock to the masjid. Before Ramadan, to engage and recite the Quran was difficult upon us, was a challenge for us. Yet as soon as the month of Ramadan enters, we see that the mosque and the masjid is filled after Asr Salah. People are busy in reciting the Quran. Before Ramadan, to perform 2 rakats nafal after Isha Salah was a challenge upon us. But as soon as the moon of Ramadan is sighted, to pray 20 rakats after Salatul Isha becomes very easy upon us. My respected brothers and friends, what is the message Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trying to tell us? He is trying to inform us that our potential and our capabilities are much higher than what we think. Generally we think, I can't do this, it's too much. We suffice on our basic a'mal. We suffice on the few namazis that we can pray at home. We suffice on coming to a masjid once a week on Jummah. And besides that, we think everything is beyond us. Yet the month of Ramadan brings a message that no, nothing is beyond you. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained, or whatever He has fixed upon a believer is easy, and it is applicable, and it can be carried out. But as soon as the month of Ramadan finishes, we see the slacking and we see the lacking. Somebody asked Bishr al-Hafi rahmatullah alayh, that what do you say regarding a nation that worships Allah in Ramadan? He said, Bi'sal qawm la ya'rifuna haqq Allah illa fi Ramadan. Woe be to that nation. Sadness and grief over that nation that only recognizes their Lord in Ramadan. They only recite the Quran in Ramadan. They only pray Salah with Jama'ah in Ramadan. They only come to the masjid in Ramadan. And as soon as the moon of Shawwal, the moon of Eidul Fitr is seen, the mosque become empty, the masjids become empty. He said, Bitsal qawm, this is a qawm, this is a nation, which is a nation that can be lamented upon. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu was sat, and Urfashir al-Thaqafiyu came, and he says, Istaqra'tu min ibn Mas'ud. I wanted Ibn Mas'ud to recite some Quran. Ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu used to recite Quran in a very beautiful manner. Hatta ke even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once told Abdullah ibn Mas'ud that recite Iqra ya ibn Mas'ud. Oh Ibn Mas'ud, recite the Quran before me. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, Aqra'u alayka unzal? Should I pray whilst it was descending upon you? So Rasulullah said, yes, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, you recite. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud started reciting until he came to an ayat in the Quran. The ayat where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that the day that everybody will be presented before Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will become a witness upon them. He came to that ayat and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam started to cry and tears were gushing down his eyes, on his cheeks. So a person came to Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu's majlis and he said that recite some Quran to me. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu started to recite the Quran. When he started to recite the Quran, he must have been the 30th para, 30th juz, and he started reciting until he came to Sabbi Hisma. And he recited the Quran ayat, بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةَ بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا عَلَى الْآخِرَةِ. He said this ayat, وَقَفَ ثُمَّ أَقْبَلَ عَلَىٰ أَصْحَابِهِ. He stopped and he looked upon all the people around him and he said, آثَرْنَا الدُّنْيَا عَلَى الْآخِرَةِ. We have given preference to his dunya over the hereafter. وَسَقَتَ الْقَوْمِ. Everybody remained silent. He said it again, آثَرْنَا الدُّنْيَا عَلَى الْآخِرَةِ لِأَنَّا رَأَيْنَا زِينَتَهَا وَنِسَاءَهَا وَطَعَامَهَا وَشَرَابَهَا وَزُوِّيَتْ أَنَّ الْآخِرَةِ. We have given preference to this dunya over the hereafter because we have seen the physical, apparent ni'mats of this world, the foods, the drinks, the women, and all the adornments of this world. And the akhirah has been kept hidden from us. That's why we have given preference over this dunya, over the hereafter. Huzaifa ibn Yaman radiyallahu anhu, the secret keeper of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to say that inna akhwafu ma akhafu ala hadhihi al-ummah ay yu'thiru ma yarawna ala ma ya'lamun. That my greatest fear upon this nation, the greatest thing that I fear on this nation, on this ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is that they will give preference of what they see over what they know. Their mind will say one thing, their eyes will show one thing. They will give preference to the things that their eyes show, but they will not give preference to what their akal says. The akal says that you come to a masjid and this is the reward for you. You pray namaz this many times, this is a reward for you. You give sadaqah, this is the reward. But their eyes will say, but if I give sadaqah, then that means 2 pounds will go for my wealth. The eyes physically can see that if I give 20 pounds, 20 pounds is going for my pocket. But Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, مَا نَقَصَ صَدَقَةٌ مِّن مَالٍ. That your sadaqah, that whatever you give in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never decrease your wealth. Aqal is saying this, what Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying. And the eyes are showing that no, wait a minute, I had 100 pounds. I'm only left with 80 now. But what will we do? We will give preference to what we see and we will not give the sadaqah. He says, this is the greatest fear upon my ummah. So my young friends, this month of Ramadan brings a great lesson to us. That no, we have the capability. We have the potential. We can carry on praying in the masjid. We can frequent the masjid. We can carry on reciting the Quran. And we should. We should, yes. The month of Ramadan has its own barakat. The month of Ramadan, you will see that what you can't do on a normal day, you can do in Ramadan. On a normal day, to pray 5 juz in a day is difficult. In Ramadan, it becomes easy. After Isha Salat, to pray 20 rakats, Tarawih becomes easy. Where you recite a full juz one in every 20 rakats. But out of Ramadan, to pray 8 rakats nafil becomes difficult. But what's the lesson we can derive? The lesson we can derive is that we should continue with those amal, even if it means by lessening them, minimizing them. Once Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam called Abdullah ibn Amr ibn As and he said, Ya Abdullah, la takun mithla fulan. Oh Abdullah, don't become like such and such a person. Kana yusalli bil-layl fataraka al-qiyam. He used to perform salat al-tahajjud daily, fataraka, but then he left it. Don't be like this person who had amal in his life and then a time came that he left it. No. Ramadan, we have seen that amal has come into our life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the tawfiq and the ability. Let's continue. Yes, we might not be able to continue on the same level, but that does not mean that you leave it altogether. In the Arabic, they are saying that ma la yutraku kullu, la yutraku kullu. That which you cannot gain in its entirety. You can't gain its entirety, don't leave it entirely. If you want to earn 10,000 pounds, but you don't have the capability, but you know if I work here, I'll get 3,000 pounds, will you leave that job as well? No. You'll say, Chalo, I can't get 10, but I can get 3. In the same way, we can't pray 10 paras daily, we can't pray 5 paras daily, but we can pray a quarter, continue with the quarter. So my young friends, the mindset we need to do. That's why the Mufti rahmatullahi alayhi say that we can do many things, but the biggest hurdle in our life is our mindset. We have made a mindset that we can't do this. This is beyond my capability. This is beyond me. No, it is not beyond you. It is in our capability. In the time of, in the old days, there was a king by the name of Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi. Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi was a very pious king, and he had a slave with him. His name was Ayaz. Ayaz was a very famous slave, and there's many stories regarding. So Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi had a very great liking towards him. He was very close to him. And once he decided that I'm going to make my slave, this Ayaz, the chief minister. As soon as he made this decision, all the other princes and the people in the courts and his ministers, they had a way of a gossip, gupshup. Ghulam making a chief minister, what's he doing? What's he playing at? So they gathered and they went to the king, Sultan Mahmud Ghaznavi, and said, Basha Salamat, Ghulam, usko chief minister, what's going on? They said, yeah, usko chief minister banana hai. So they got a bit angry. When they're angry in front of the king, but inside, Sultan Ghaznavi rahmatullahi was a very clever person, intelligent person. He realized that these people have some reservations, they are hot for Ayaz. So the next day he called them all. And he made them all sit down. And he called his treasurer and he said, go to my treasure and bring the best diamond. So he went and he bought the diamond. And he called all the princes one by one. And he said, what's the worth of this diamond? He said, Basha Salamat, this diamond is probably worth a few million dinars, this amount. He said, Acha. So he goes, what will its worth be if you break it? It will be zero. If you break this diamond, it's worthless. It's useless. It's worthless. At the moment it's priceless. You break it, it becomes worthless. He said, break it. He said, no. Basha Salamat, no. हम तो आपको आबाद करने के लिए आए हैं, बर्बाद करने के लिए थोड़ा आए हैं. Basha Salamat, we come here to help you, to make you strength, give you strength and to give you stability. We've not come here to break you and destroy you. We're not going to break this diamond. So, acha bet jao, mashallah, bet jao. He called the next prince and he said the same thing. What's this diamond worth? He said this amount of thousands, millions of dinars. Okay, what's it worth if you break it? It's zero. Okay, break it. They didn't break it. The third came. Then he called the ministers. Same question, same answer. And inside all these ministers are getting very happy. हमने तो बहुत अच्छा job किया. बादशाह हम तो आपका आभार करने के लिए आए हैं, बर्बाद करने के लिए थोड़ा आए. We have come to enlighten you. We have come to help you, stabilize you. We have come to give you strength. We have not come to destroy you. And inside you are becoming very happy. Until Sultan Muhammad Ghaznavi went to Ayaz and he called him, Ayaz idara. Ayaz, come here. You break. What's this diamond worth? So he said, this amount of millions of dinars, dirhams. Acha. What's it worth if I break it? If you break it? He said it's worth nothing, it's zero. Kachra. So just break it. Without thinking, Ayaz got a rock and he broke it. Without thinking, he broke it instantly. As soon as he broke it, all the princes, all the ministers, they jumped up and they said, Dekho Basha, we told you he's here to destroy you. Dekho, he's broken the diamond. And they made there was a chaos and big noise in the palace. So Sultan Ghaznavi said, better. Everyone, compose yourself, calm down. You've had your chance to speak. Let me ask him now. He called him and he asked, Apne ye kyun kiya? Why did you do this? Why did you break this diamond for? So he said, Basha Salamat, sabne hira ko bachaya aapke hukam tora. Every single person in this court, all the princes, all the ministers, they protected, they preserved, they guarded the diamond, yet they broke your ahkam. They broke your command, they broke your instructions. You told them to break it, they didn't break it. And as for me, I protected your command, I protected what you said, and I broke the diamond. And this is the lesson we need. That whatever happens in life, we uphold Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command. We uphold Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's pleasure. Whether it means breaking our heart, whether it means breaking our desires, whether it means breaking the wishes of our family. The whole family is saying we need to do this. Allah and His Rasul is saying we need to do this. What should we do? We should give priority to Allah and His Rasul's ahkam, and even if that means displeasing them. And this is the lesson we learn. When you look in the history, we will find this lesson throughout from Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to the Sahabas, that their first and foremost objective in life was to please Allah and His Rasul, and then anybody else. And if there was a clash, and if there's a contradiction, that the family is saying this, and they are saying this, then they will part with the family. Ammar ibn Yasir, from an affluent family, such a rich person, and when the call of Islam came, he accepted Islam. His mother says that if you want to accept Islam, he was the influencer of Makkah. Nowadays you have influences. Ammar ibn Yasir was the influencer of Makkah. The itar, the perfume he used to put on, people used to envy. He used to put such perfume on. The clothes he used to wear, people used to envy. But when the time came and he was given a choice that either live this lavish life or leave us and go with Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what did he do? He left the lavish life and he went to Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam until the day he died. The day he died in Uhud, Muhaddithin say that when he died and he only had a piece of cloth on himself. Not even sufficient to cover his whole body. If they covered his face, his feet would become exposed. If they covered his feet, his face would become exposed. Rasulullah said that cover his face and put leaves on his feet. Why? He preferred the life of Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So my young friends, this is the lesson. And there are so many stories. There are so many stories that if we go down this is a discussion in its own self. But we can understand this, we can get a gist from this, that our predecessors, the pious people, what importance they gave to Allah and His Rasul. And whoever gives importance, Allah will never let you go to waste. In the time of Ibn Jawzi Rahmatullah mentions in his book Al-Majalis wal Mawa'id, he mentioned in that there's a person by the name of Abdullah ibn Misk, Abu Bakr ibn Misk. Abu Bakr ibn Misk, his name was Misk. Misk means musk. that his body used to emanate a fragrance of musk, which was one of the best fragrances at the time. So people used to say to him, like all the time you have this expensive fragrance on, do you have no concern about your dad's wealth? You're spending so much on fragrance. He used to put it aside. He used to brush it aside. Until one day somebody forced him, what's the story? What's happened? So he came out with the story that his father used to have a shop. And he used to work in the shop. And he was a very handsome person. And one day a lady came. And the lady came and she had some feelings for him. So she wanted to take him home and fulfill her feelings and her desires. So she made a plot. And she told the shopkeeper, his father, that send your son with me. The bags are too heavy. Send him to my house to drop them off. So his father said, Abu Bakr, jao bhai, drop the bags off. So as soon as he went with the bags, she locked the doors behind him. And he said, fulfill my desires. You got two options. Either fulfill my desires, or I will make a scream and I will tell the whole community that you have come to do X, Y, and Z, and you've come to rape me. So Abu Bakr ibn missed, what should I do now? So he said, okay, let me relieve my son. Let me relieve my son. He went in the back and he relieved himself and he got the feces. He got the stool and he put it over his body. And he went back to her and he said, okay, now do whatever you want. So she said, stay. And she kicked him out of the house. He went to such an extent to uphold the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He went home and he's in the story is mentioned that he showered once, twice, but the smell was not going. Until at night when he went to sleep, he saw a dream. And in the dream somebody was saying to him that فَعَلْتَ مَا لَا فَعَلَ أَحَدٍ, that you have done such a thing that nobody has done. And we have tipped her. We have fragranced you. When he woke up, his body, till the day that he woke up, till the day he died, his body was emanating this musk. This body was emanating this musk because he went to the extent to preserve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not let him go to waste. And my young friends, this is the story. Mufti Saheb has been doing tafsir in Surah Kahf. That's a story we learned from about the youngsters. That they uphold the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserved them and preserved their legacy and their narrative and their story till the day of Qiyamah. You preserve the commands of Allah, Allah will preserve you. So my young friends, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the correct understanding, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us take this lesson to our heart and continue with the amal and the ibadah that we have done, even if it's not to the entirety, at least to some extent. Keep coming to a masjid, keep the masjid occupied, keep the masjid filled up, come to a salah and bring your children with you. Bring your children. Nowadays people are complaining that our children, bring your children. Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal rahmatullah mentions regarding his mom. Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal rahmatullah became one of the greatest imams. But what was his beginning? He says his beginning was that when his mom used to wake him before Fajr to do hifz of the Quran. And she used to warm the water for him. And then they used to pray the sunnahs of Fajr. And she used to walk him. It was the doctor of Baghdad. The doctors of Baghdad, she used to walk him to a masjid. And she used to wait outside until he used to pray Salatul Fajr. And then she used to wait for him to do the hifz of the Quran. This mother that gave such a sacrifice, then you get sons like Abdul Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahmatullah alayhi. So my young friends, we need to even cultivate this message into our children that deen comes first. Deen comes first and then the dunya. Deen comes first, then the dunya. Even if our children are playing, going out to play, remind them, okay, you can play, you can be on your PlayStation, Jobio. But as soon as it's namaz time, everything goes off. Namaz time, Allah's command comes first. After that, we do not go forward. So if we bring this into our lives, then inshallah we will see it. Whilst we were sitting in Atikaf, this last story, we were sitting in Atikaf. And when we were sitting the 48 hours at Atikaf, one person asked me a question that when we go to Istanbul, what niyyah should we make? So I gave him a few answers. Then I said to him that when you take your children, take your children with the niyyat of ibrah. That I am taking my children so that they can contemplate and they can take ibrah and take lesson. That what was Turkey? Turkey was the center of the Ottoman Empire. But today you come out of the blue mosque and outside you will see alcohol being sold. Why? Because when you move away from the command of Allah and you opt the secular life and you opt the Western life, then there's a cost behind everything. The cost of that is that iman will go from your children's life. And I was reading Mufti Sahab's majalis. He says that Istanbul holds a history. And one specific thing that Istanbul holds, which you will never find anywhere in history, is that when the Topkapi Museum was made, Sultan Salim I, when he made this Topkapi Museum, he bought all the artifacts from Medina Munawwara of Rasulullah from Makkah, and he put them all in that museum. The day he put that in that museum, from that day till 400 years after, every day for 24 hours, 365 days a year, the Quran was being recited continuously. For 400 years, a place where the Quran was recited continuously. But yes, when you go today, you see that there is a difference in the culture. The whole culture has changed. It's hard to sometimes differentiate whether they are Muslims or not. My young friends, what is this? This is the cost of moving from Islamic life to secular life, to Western life. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَىٰ, that you give preference to his dunya over the hereafter. If you do give preference to his dunya over the hereafter, then there's nothing for us to lose but our iman, our children. My young friends, that's why it's very important that we give preference to deen, continue coming to a masjid, continue taking benefit from the majalis that take place in the masjid, and inshallah we will see that our iman will grow and flourish. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept and give us all the tawfiq to act upon what's been mentioned, what's been heard. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.